much for tuning in today. My name is Julia Polston. I'm the Manager of Talent Development at ICI. And today I have the honor of meeting with Todd Thurston. He is the Sales Manager over Business and Fleet at Hare Truck Center. Thanks for joining me today, Todd.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and tell everyone your name again, position, and how long you have been at Hare Truck Center.
Awesome. So again, Todd Thurston. I am the commercial manager here at Hare Truck Center, where we sell Chevys and Isuzu trucks, mainly to businesses. I've been here 8 years, and prior to that, spent 13 years in the highway construction industry. So I've been a member of ICI for about 21 years now, I think. So
you're basically like a seasoned professional at this point.
I'm seasoned. That's for sure.
So if you want to go ahead and tell everyone a little bit more about Hare Truck Center, get all of our viewers more familiar.
Sure. Awesome. I was at the Hoosier company for 13 years prior to coming here. And the main reason why I came, my wife's family owned the dealership. And so I hated to leave all of my construction friends, but coming to work in my hometown with my wife's family was kind of appealing. And the great thing about it was I was going to be on the fleet and commercial side, which meant I could continue to work and sell with all my old highway friends. We do a lot of stuff, whether it's just regular trucks, pickup trucks, cargo vans. We get into flatbeds and dump trucks and even big trucks, all the way up to 25 950 GVW. So we do a lot of big dump trucks and flatbeds. And most recently, I've been doing a lot back with our friends in the highway business. So that's been fun.
That's great. And I know this is like an area of the industry where I feel like a lot of outside people aren't very familiar with. They think of highway construction, they think of roads and bridges, and of course they see all the big equipment, but I feel like a lot of people don't think about how companies provide different type of vehicles for all of their employees. So you're on a really unique side of highway construction.
Yeah.
So as a sales manager of Hare Truck Center, what exactly does that entail? Tell us all about your position.
On the commercial side, it's a lot different than if you come in and buy a vehicle for yourself. Typically, we'll come out and we will meet with businesses at their facilities and talk to them about their needs, not just today, but in the future, to help them prepare. A lot of the trucks that you see out there, whether it be guys for using it for service bodies or dump trucks, it's not like you just come in and buy that over the weekend. A lot of times there's a lot of preparing that goes into that. And those bodies are pretty specific for some companies. And that lead time is fairly long. So a lot of what we do is come in and try to be their transportation partner and help them understand what they have, what they need, and how long it would take for them to get, and then work them through that process. A lot of folks don't know that as a member of ICI, you're also a member of AGC from the national, yes. And that gives you a additional rebate with Chevrolet vehicles, not just for the company, but any individual who works for a company that is an AGC member would get a discount on their personal vehicles too.
So you mentioned, you worked for the Hoosier company prior to joining the team at Hare Auto Center. And you said, you moved over to that side for personal reasons with your wife and everything. But is there anything else aside from that personal relationship you had at Hare Truck Auto Center that got you into the fleet sales side of highway construction? Like, did you do anything with that when you were at the Hoosier company, or tell us about that?
Tell everybody I made it for 3 reasons: faith, family, and community. All of those were great at Hoosier, very family-oriented business, and are still that way today. I still consider them family, but this was family business. I don't have to travel. I mean, the dealership doesn't open till 9, whereas construction, nice. they're up. So I put my kids on the bus every day. I'm pretty involved in the community. So I'm on a lot of boards, and I'm on the park board and fire department board and Boys and Girls Club. And I coach. And so some of that stuff was kind of hard to do when I was traveling. Hoosier covers such a big area. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to Missouri sometimes. So between those things, mainly just being able to work and be a part of the community that I live in, and having that additional time with my family were the two main reasons. I would have never made the move if I was just going to be a car sales guy. The sales that I do on the commercial side is much like the sales that I did while I was at the Hoosier company. It's a lot of relationship based. We're not always low bid like we had to be sometimes then, but we try to be best bid. It's all about that same process, understanding our customer and trying to do the right thing, making their job easy and being a great partner.
No, and I'm sure all of your customers greatly appreciate that. I know I would. What would you say is your favorite part about your job being on the fleet sales side of highway construction at Hare Auto Center?
The best thing about it is the relationships that I've made and continue to keep. One of the things I learned when I was at Hoosier is, we didn't look at our customers as customers. We considered them partners. What we go through every day, has to be mutually beneficial. We all have skin in the game. And I've kind of brought that mentality here where we're not customer and sales guy, we're partners. My job is to understand everything there is about your business, and then take what I know about the truck side of it and help you apply it to yours. I tell everybody our goal is to make sure I get you the right truck at the right price at the right time. So we ask a lot of questions, a more thorough needs assessment, again, stuff I learned at Hoosier, and being able to have that foundation and continue to work with those same people 20 years later has been just a blessing.
No, and that right there shows something that I'm told a lot, and I've obviously witnessed from being in the industry, is any person that I've done this interview with, probably 2 to 3 times during an interview, the whole relationship part of the industry is always brought up. And that's one thing I love about our industry, how a lot of your businesses are family oriented. So I'm really happy that you got to experience that, and you still do experience that at Hare Truck Center, which is really great. Pre-COVID, how is your day-to-day typically done as sales manager over at Hare Auto Center?
Oh, good question. So it's a lot different than what most people think about when they think about buying a car. Our team doesn't sit here just waiting on you to come in and buy a vehicle. So a lot of what we do is we go and to our partners events and associations and things like that, whether it be ICI or landscape. We do a lot with landscapers. So we support their industries and their golf outings and things like that when those come up. But a lot of what we're doing is meeting customers in their office where we can. And again, like you mentioned, a lot of that has changed now, but it's kind of different. A lot of what we do on a sales side, we come to you, or now we do a lot of videos of our inventory. So we have that online. So we may have a day where we spend taking pictures and doing walk around videos of trucks that we have on the lot, so that if you were to call and say, hey man, I need a dump truck, not only can I give you pricing for it, but I can send you a video so you don't have to drive to Noblesville. And if you still want to see it, that's okay. Most of what we do is come to you. So today already, I started off, I was on the south side of Indianapolis at 8 o'clock, dropping off a vehicle, a 24-foot box truck that needed graphics on it. Came back here, got some paperwork, drove back to 82nd in Michigan, and dropped a vehicle off over there at a customer's and signed paperwork, and came back, had lunch on the way. And now I'm working on a couple quotes for some customers. So it's kind of get up with one thing in mind and then kind of go where it takes you. But hopefully it's a lot of interaction with our partner.
No, I love that. I love when I hear people talk about their days and say that like no day is really the same. So it keeps your job entertaining. It keeps you motivated, and it keeps things exciting for you. So thinking back before you started your career, was there ever a time that you can think of where you knew you wanted to be in the highway construction industry, or did you just kind of fall into it?
I never thought I'd be there. I never thought I'd be selling trucks. And it's just amazing how things kind of lead you along the way. I had taken a job on Monument Circle and I loved where I was working, but I hated my job. Yeah. And was just having a conversation with one of my best friends from 4th grade. And he said, my dad's vice president of the Hoosier company and they're looking for a sales guy. I said, well, I'll send him my resume. So I sent it over and they hired me. And 13 years later, I couldn't have imagined it any different. And looking back, I drive down the road. I never thought prior to that, where does all this stuff come from? Who puts the asphalt down? Who does the lane markings? Who puts up the signs? Who does, and you never thought about it. And honestly, my plan was to retire there. I really enjoyed it and loved that company, and just the highway industry is just so warm and friendly, and you don't want to look for anything else. And so then getting on this side of it, one of the things that my wife's cousins who owned the dealership at the time liked was, you've been selling to all these guys, you have all these relationships with highway construction folks, they're still going to be your customers, you're just going to be selling them something different. So that was very appealing, but I never thought I would have been selling vehicles. So and had it not still had that tie back into the construction industry, I probably wouldn't have taken the job. I would have stayed where I was. But it was a smooth transition. And while I still miss my highway friends and my Hoosier company friends, I still get to see them a lot. I still, when I can, play in the ICI golf outings, and still have a lot of customers and friends that I see. And I'll see them all over the place. So it's great.
What would you say would need to be your number one skill set?
In sales, you really need to be kind of self-motivated and outgoing. The thing I like about this, it's much more relationship build. We try to be very fair in pricing. I still kind of use that low bid type environment. Like, I may only get one shot to sell it to you. So I tell everybody, I'm not going to try to put my kids through college when I sell you a truck. My goal is to try to make a little bit money, get you in the right vehicle, and then sell you trucks for the next 10, 15 years. And so to do that, you have to be outgoing. You have to have great follow-up, pretty good organizational skills. You've got to have the ability to just kind of create your own business, really, because that's what it all comes down to. Our guys, if they're not selling trucks, they're not making any money. So kind of have to go out and get it.
Is there any advice you can think of now that you would give your younger self that would have helped you in your current role as an adult?
Way back then, and I know I'm gray and bald, but I'm not that old. But one of the things coming out when I came out of high school, everybody's, all right, now you got to go to college, and and I didn't know what I wanted to do then, but went to college and then flunked out of one place and went again, and then started working. And one of the things that we're starting to see now are people talk about, maybe you don't need to go to college, maybe you just need to find that passion for you. And I wish I would have kind of settled in a little bit and found what my passion was. And I could have gotten a start earlier without, I don't want to say wasting some time, but maybe wasting some money and enjoying my time. I think too much now on these kids who just go to college, where it's not for everybody. And having spent all the time I did in highway construction and just sales in general, and now dealing with a lot of other trades as well, there's a lot of ways that you can make a living now right out of high school without getting an education like school education, but becoming a apprentice with something, or starting out early and learning some ropes of some sales or whatever it is that you want to do. And that would be probably the advice, is maybe get a little bit more stubborn on what people were telling me to do and what I really wanted to do, and maybe have just chose to go that route instead.
I've been out of high school going on a little over 10 years now. And even when 10 years ago, when I was in high school, that was the conversation that always happened. It was either, okay, when you graduate, you're either going to go to college or you better have another plan. And usually the only other plan that was talked about was joining the Army or something like that.
Yeah.
As anyone that wanted to do skilled trades, that was probably because of their grandparent or parent, they saw how they did and went for that. What I've noticed recently is how much the conversation has shifted. So I love that you did bring that up, because when I talk to various teachers at various school corporations, I've noticed a lot of schools are starting to implement classes based around construction and getting students exposed to that at an early age. So, I mean, even if they are considering going the college route or they don't, they're being exposed to more than what you or I were exposed to when we were in high school. So I know that's happening all over the state of Indiana, because it not only helps the kids, but it benefits us in the industry as a whole. So
absolutely
that. So I would definitely tell myself that too. I would also tell younger kids to take advantage of opportunities, that are brought their way, and don't have to go to college to be successful. And our industry has their arms wide open for young people to take advantage of opportunities. Yeah, so, well, I guess that's pretty much all of the questions I had for you today. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's peak of construction season right now, so I know everybody's busy, but I appreciate you telling us about your career journey.
I appreciate you having me, and just appreciate everything that ICI does. I've loved being a part of it for 20-something years now. Doesn't seem like that's possible.
Well, thank you so much. And hopefully next year, everyone can start getting back together in person, fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Todd. I appreciate your time today.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.